morning. It is 4:50 and I slept like trash. We even got to bed semi-early. Hi, sorry, good morning. My name is Michaela. I'm a PhD student at the University of Tübingen and I am going on a research trip, which is very exciting to say. But it's 4:50 in the morning and our flight is at 7:40 and we need to catch our bus very soon. But despite the amount of time that we should have had to sleep, I can never go to sleep properly if I feel like I'm going to be late or missing my bus or something, and so I'm so tired. And we barely slept because I wriggle lots and then it wakes Luke up. But I just want to say hello, let's go to London. I'm very excited. I thought I'd take you along. Looking like a tourist. Like, wow, countryside.
I can't get up alone, too heavy on my own. The world is moving on, I'm still standing here, searching for steady ground, a place to settle down.
This is where we're trying to get to, but we have to go this way.
One day I'll change your mind, and it won't come easy, but I know it's worth the fight, and I will run across the rivers anywhere with you. I won't give up, I'll take my chances.
Hello. I've spoken over nothing today because I spoke this morning before we left home and then we caught a flight.
We did? Very early flight.
Our flight was at 7:40. We got there totally fine. No problems with buses or trains or anything. And then we caught the underground into the city centre. And then we hung around in the suburb of, and I can never remember which way this is pronounced, if it's Marylebone or Marylebone, because I've heard everyone say it. I think my family always called it Marylebone when we were doing.
Which means it's probably the other one.
Which means it's probably Marylebone. I think we did Marylebone in Monopoly. Just probably wrong. But yeah, anyway, we hung around in there and we did some shopping. Luke bought some very nice jackets. We went to TK Maxx, which is like my favorite place in the whole world because I feel like you can get really nice quality stuff. Yeah, okay. TK Maxx in Germany is terrifying because they don't order things properly and you're just like walking up and down the racks and it's like a button shirt and then a t-shirt and then a workout shirt and then knitwear and it's just like...
And maybe there's different sizes, but it's probably in a different section of the store.
Yeah. Whereas here, it's like ordered properly and they have like a jacket section which is sorted by small and then medium and then large and so forth. And so we bought 2 jackets for Luke, which was really nice. And I got this shirt because I've been looking for some more merino for over winter time because sometimes it just gets a bit cold and I wanted something that will easily go under my jacket. And then, oh no, before that we went and got brunch. It was one of the places that I watch a lot of TikTok and Instagram reels about travel, and so I often just randomly save places, and I think it was one of the places that I'd saved because when I went to go look at brunch places for today it was just already in the saved things. We went there and it was really good. It was really nice to have some like normal brunch food again because Germany isn't big on brunch, but New Zealand really is big on brunch and I assume we got it from British culture, so it was really nice to have a really good breakfast. And then we went shopping for a little bit and then we went to Daunt Books, which I didn't end up buying anything from. I like buying books from places that we travel to, because when I then read the books or see them on my shelf, it reminds me of the place that I got them from. Kind of, I don't know, I guess I assume that's why people do snow globes or something. And yeah, I kind of thought that I finally go to Daunt Books, which I've heard about for like the longest time. And like, it was nice, but it was really, really crowded. And it was a lot of travel books and not much else. So it was nice. And I'm glad that I went, but I didn't end up buying anything from there. It was just kind of more a look around. And then we went outside the 221B Baker Street, the Sherlock Holmes, I guess, museum and gift shop. Luke couldn't go in because we had all our luggage with us, and you can't go in with luggage. So I just went in and had a quick look around, and honestly, it was just a lot of like merchandise and then different variations of bindings for different Sherlock Holmes books. And so I guess you could go in and see which version you wanted to buy and everything. But I was only in there for a few minutes. And then we caught the train out here, and ironically, in a true, I guess you could say, Michaela fashion, because I swear this always happens when I plan stuff, we have booked a place which is like 30 minutes, 40 minutes out of the nearest township that has a train station. And when I looked on the website, it said you can take the train and then get a taxi from the train station to the estate, and it's like 5 minutes. And so I was like, cool, we'll take the train out and then we'll get off at where Google Maps tells me to get off, and we'll just get a taxi. And we tried like every single app that we have on our phones, and I even downloaded some other apps as well. We tried Uber and Lime Scooters, even Bolt, Free Now, Boy, Tier, like literally everything, and there was just nobody in the area. And so we walked. The estate here has like an affiliation with the taxi company, and I guess I'm so used to using Uber everywhere that I don't know, I probably should have anticipated it, but I didn't. And so we ended up walking like 40 minutes, and the first half of it was along a road, and then the road got kind of scary because it was through, like, it was a winding road through forestry, and a lot of people were driving quite fast. And then we met some people who saw that we were looking lost, and they were on a forest walk with their dog, and they showed us a pathway through the forest that would get us to the back of the estate, and then we just needed to walk around the perimeter. And it turns out that it ended up being like a proper like hiking path if you're doing a trail, and we just like did a short little section of it, but we had all of our luggage with us. And I swear we saw like 2 or 3 different people, was it 2, maybe 2 different families who were like, what are you doing? Like, why are you carrying all your luggage through this like hiking trail? We had to explain.
It was more like a bushwalk.
Yeah.
It wasn't intense.
No. And we saw some birds along the way because I birdwatch, and it was really nice. We saw the
Eurasian
marsh hen?
Swamp hen.
Swamp hen.
Eurasian.
So in New Zealand, one of our native birds is called a pukeko, but I've recently learned, you probably knew this ages ago.
Australasian swamp hen.
Australasian swamp hen.
I think.
But the Māori name is pukeko. And Luke was looking into the river that we were doing, like a bridge over a river, walking along a bridge over a river, and he's like, that looks like a pukeko, but like, we're in England, so it can't be a pukeko. And we ended up finding that there's a Eurasian one. No, yes, Eurasian.
Yep, Eurasian.
Swamp hen.
As opposed to Australian.
And it was really cute, and we kind of like saw it wading around in the water and struggling to swim against the current. And then we saw some swans and some rose ringed. Basically, there was a bunch of parakeets.
Ringed rose parakeets.
That were brought over for like pets. And then a bunch of them got loose, and they've now just like bred and spread everywhere. This happened as well in,
It was Italy. There was a bunch.
Yeah,
not just those
Rome. We were in the middle of Rome, and we stumbled upon this like garden in the middle of a block of apartments. And I mean, it was open to the public and everything. And there was so many parakeets, and we're like, what the heck is going on here? And then we found out that the same thing that happened in Rome happened here as well. So we saw a bunch of those. Yeah, it was like a really nice walk around the gardens and property and everything. And then we got here and checked in, and we kind of just chilled out since then we went down to the bar and had a drink and some food because we had a lot for lunch, and so we didn't end up really needing a full dinner. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with today. I will show you our room later on when I've kind of packed it up. I realized a lot of people do a room tour like as soon as they walk in, whereas I swear like every time we travel we get somewhere super early because that's the only flight we can get, and then we spend the whole day doing a lot of stuff, whether it's lots of walking or whatever, and when we get into the room we just want to like dump the stuff and chill, and then of course we spread out. And so I never film the room tour like straight away because I feel awkward showing all the stuff and I don't want to like delay getting into the room and stuff. So yes, anyway, I will sign off for tonight and I'm excited for tomorrow, so I'll see you then.
And I won't look back, yeah. I don't care about the bad shit back home. It's Cincinnati, baby, I just wanna let it go. Nothing matters when we're way out here. Oh, yeah. Baby, I don't have to know your real name. I'm just addicted to the way you take the
I didn't do a room tour, but we are running out at the moment, but I just want to say hello, welcome, good morning. It's the next day and we are heading now into London Central so that I can go to my conference. I don't know what today's gonna look like yet, but I will take you along, I guess. So yeah, let's check out of this wonderful place. You can see like the very small amount of this room, and look, all our bags packed. Yeah, we're gonna go. Good morning, London. I really hope that I'm in the shot right now. It is very late. It is, I think, almost 11 and we are back from London now, but I didn't film an end to the video, and so I thought that I would just very quickly come on here and tell you a tiny bit about my conference because I didn't end up filming anything. It was the busiest, most intense conference that I've ever been to, and I'm actually really glad that the 2 days beforehand I took off because I needed it with how exhausted I was. The end of my last vlog, which if you haven't seen you should go check out, it was a very busy work week. I worked a really long time trying to get this chapter finished, and then I didn't get the chapter finished and I had a lot of prep to do for the conference itself, and it was just an insanely busy week. And then the first 2 days of this week I took off and it felt like you kind of feel guilty, but I also in hindsight am feeling really glad that I did because this conference was just constant, full-on German, English, intense conversations about like so many different topics that it was just like the most intense conference I've ever been to, but it was super rewarding, and I'm really glad that I did it because I felt like it's taught me so much about, yeah, just like a bunch of different topics that I didn't know, but then also other skills like what's expected when you're asked to give a response to something, for example, or like different interpretations that people have. Basically the whole conference was structured over 2 days, but like it was really 3, but half a day, full day, and then half a day, and we had to pre-write a paper and submit it, and then we had to read everyone's papers, and we were assigned to comment on 2 different papers, and then it was opened up for discussion. Each section was an hour and a half that covered 2 papers, and so we'd start with the 10-minute response, and then the person who's speaking had time to respond to the response, and then it would open up to the floor for discussion. And there was, I think, like 17 people sitting in the room, and so it was very like intensive. Unfortunately for me, I was on the first day entirely. So there was 2 sessions on the first day, and in the first session my paper was being responded to, and the second session I was giving the response. And so I felt like I was super nervous because I didn't have any like precedent to draw upon on like how to respond because I was in the very first session, and I feel like I did a really bad job compared to other people. But at the same time I feel like I'm trying to give myself more grace than what other people had because they could then draw on what I did and either decide if that was a good or bad response. So yeah, I don't know if they felt that way, but for me at least I feel like I didn't do the greatest job and that I didn't answer everything especially well, but in that process I learned a lot, which is really good. And then the second session was me giving the response, and obviously the only response that I've then heard is the response that I was given in the first session. And it was really confusing because the response that I'd given was very like detailed in terms of giving a summary of what the arguments were from my perspective, so that they can figure out like if the argument that they thought they were arguing actually came through to a non-specialist, and kind of talking about the differences and the similarities between paper 1 and paper 2. And then I posed like one themed question. So I had a theme of things that I thought weren't answered properly or could help with discussion, and I posed like 2 to 3 questions that were related to that theme. So realistically it was only really one question because it was one theme, and the response that I'd been given was like a yes, I agree with you, I understand how you got to that, and here's like 9 questions. And so it was completely different style of response to the response that I gave. So I was feeling so nervous about giving my response because it was just completely different. Turns out that across the course of the conference, other people did different styles of responding. This is my first response as well, and so I feel like seeing the different styles and seeing the pros and cons of like how it helped people or didn't help people really helped me figure out what I want to do with responses going forward, because there's not one method, and I'm hoping that I can stay in academia long enough to be able to do that. So yeah, no, it was really good, and while it was super intensive, I feel like I learned so much on this conference, so it was really good. Anyway, I'm gonna end this video here because it's long enough as it is. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you with another video very soon.